Growing My Angel's Wings, The Boy Child, Part 2. John was diagnosed with HIV from a blood transfusion during open heart surgery. He told me that one day he just received a letter from the Red Cross that he might be infected with the AIDS virus. His great wall of denial allowed him to never respond to the letter. Now 10 years later, he was dying. John was 62 years old. He had a wife, children, and grandchildren. He had lived his life as a wealthy Texas oil man and was extremely financially secure. He once confessed to me that he never thought he could have AIDS and always thought the warning he received was only for gay people, gay men. Now John's disease had progressed to blindness and he was hard of hearing. John now isolated himself from his ranch and would not receive even the closest friends. When I admitted John to hospice services, he totally isolated in his private quarters, and beer was the only source of nutrition. My challenge was to work with a blind, isolated, rapidly declining patient who was hard of hearing. To make it more challenging, he drank over a case of beer a day. I finally just sat with him for a few minutes after I took his vital signs and did my physical assessment. I would sit silently and alone with him. I just sat there. As I visited frequently, John confided in me that he was afraid to die, not physically, but spiritually. He said he would die if death was just the end he feared unknown, and he has always declined the thought of an afterlife. During this visit, John seemed to be trembling with fear. Because of his disease process, I knew that I could not verbally communicate with him, so again I sat and listened. It does not take a lot of communication to become close to somebody. John was so upset that I ordered a mild tranquilizer for anxiety and gave his wife instructions. That night I received a call from John's wife. She was concerned because he appeared to be hallucinating. She said he did not seem to be agitated. Rather, he was having a conversation with some individual person in the darkness. The next day when I visited John, I know that I could see and I can hear. He said, The next day when I visited John, he said to me, I know that I can see and I can hear, but I saw and heard a little boy last night. He took away my fear, and I am ready to die now. 3 nights passed. I awoke to the sound of my pager. At 4:30 a.m., I was not on call, but checked my pager. Then all of a sudden, I thought of John, and somehow I knew that he had died. There were no messages on my pager. When I called his wife, she said he had died very peacefully at 4:30 in the morning. She spent her time alone with him before calling the hospice nurse to pronounce at 6 a.m. I am left to wonder if the imaginary sound of my pager was John letting me know that all is well, or was it the little boy telling me my job is done? Thank you.